Starting today, we funded 20.
We as a nation do not have to go into debt to have a currency.
Hello friends, welcome to We Are Change Fresno TV. Today is October 3rd, 2013. I'm interviewing Prince Truth Chaser, aka Paul Wesley from Philadelphia. He's a political activist, and we're going to jump right into it about Building 7. I want to let you know what I did for my 9/11 truth activism during 9/11 week. Was We Are Change Fresno set up a table at the marathon they had downtown, and they were raising awareness about the official story of 9/11, and so we brought in the architects and engineers version of events and their analysis, and we exposed the general public at this tribute to 9/11 victims marathon. We did that on Sunday, and then on actual 9/11, which I think it was a Wednesday, we had a table at Fresno State, architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth table at Fresno State. We had a lot of We Are Change members come by, stop by and volunteer. The table was there from 11 to 4. So we did really good there, handed out a lot of material, talked to a lot of people, and had some very interesting, intelligent conversations with architect and engineering students, with chemistry students. People really got interested with the breakdown beyond the nanothermite, how the buildings collapsed, things of that nature. And so it was very good to share the truth. You want to share, and that ties right into Building 7. That's the smoking gun, and that's what we continually reference, the building that fell, that was never hit by any planes. And so, Paul, you want to go ahead and speak on your 9/11 activism and Building 7 and what all went on in Philadelphia for 9/11 this year?
Well, I'll tell you, first of all, I'm very humbled and thankful for returning back on the show again. Thank you guys. And I commend all you guys for all the activism that you guys are doing over there, and it's great. As far as what happened in 9/11, I just want to basically say, my condolences and We Are Change's condolences all go out to the families who've lost loved ones in this tragedy that the government orchestrated, in this tragedy that the government had planned. And for what I did for 9/11 was basically go down and interview people and pass out flyers and spread awareness. I mean, it's from my understanding, it's kind of clear to see that when you have such a tragedy and such a chaotic event happen like 9/11, what a lot of people don't understand, what a lot of people don't want to come to grips is that how a government could orchestrate this cataclysmic event such as 9/11. Why would they do it? And what are the reasons for that? And when we look at building number 7 that just mysteriously fell down,
office fires. The official story says it collapsed due to office fires. A 47-story steel beam skyscraper is what the official story says. The official 9/11 Commission report says office fires caused that. It's pretty darn far-fetched.
Well, and here's the thing: is scientific fact shows that there's no way that can physically, scientifically happen. Which it just can't happen. And this is the problem with America. This is the problem with people.
Office fires don't burn hot enough to melt structural steel is the bottom line of it.
Not only that, but people, when given the facts, when given scientific proof, they are so unwilling to will into existence change to get out and hold accountable this crook, these villains that are running our government, these parasites. Literally, that's what they are, Sam. They're parasites that feed off of negative energy. They feed off of chaos. And here's the thing. See, the United States government wants us to know about building number 7. You realize that. They want us to know they did that, which I'm going to get into shortly.
Well, they do throw it in your face. If you just do a little bit of precursory research, you can see that it's very questionable why that building fell. But then, I asked the question, why do they, if we didn't have architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth in New York on the 10th anniversary pushing to show that third beam, they would have never shown that third beam, I don't think.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, it's with the elitists and the Illuminati and the dark occultists that run this world, the banksters, the gangsters that are involved with the American government. You know, they want us to know. I mean, and they want mass chaos. These people want mass chaos because they feed off the anger. And the thing is that when people find out the truth about what happened in New York City, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get mass chaos.
And so that's part of the Hegelian dialectic they use, problem, reaction, solution.
Well, first you create the problem, then you get the then when you create the problem, you have the reaction, and then of course they offer as a solution. Now the thing is, with 9/11, it was obviously to invade Iraq and then do what they did for money. I mean, this is all about money. Even when we get to Syria and what's going on, I mean, it's all about money. But the American people are awake now. We are awake, and we're not falling for the BS anymore. So I mean, in my mind, I want to see a peaceful. See, this is all mind control, and we have to understand that. And now, when I talk to a lot of activists, a lot of people want change. A lot of people are angry. A lot of people want violent change, and that's not going to solve anything. Except, see, we have to understand that these people, these parasites that run this government in this world, they feed off the energy that they have planned basically to. They know how energy works, how human consciousness works, how thought manifestation works, how if you think something in your mind, you can manifest that thought into reality. So they know that a violent revolution will only change things temporarily, but whatever regime or crooked government that we take over, we're taking over this government in a violent way, then that's violent energy taking over this government in a violent way. And what's going to happen? History is going to repeat itself. If we do it in a non-compliant revolution, a peaceful revolution, then we'll crush the system. If we stop at what we're doing right now and we stop in our tracks and we stop complying, what that means is, with these big banksters, if we basically go ahead and say, listen, our food that's being poisoned, our air that's being poisoned, how about we don't buy off these corporations? How about if we just go from the farmer's market, homegrown, to our house? Just stop complying.
Economic boycott is a major solution and a powerful tool that every individual holds. But it seems like, Paul, people don't want to take advantage of the power that they do have, and they just want to live in fear, and that's part of this fear-based, trauma-based mind control system they have us in. So how do we, I guess, we just continue to educate people? It seems like a lot of people just do not want to care. I guess the fluoride's already done its job, and they just will not ever change the way they live and stop complying with the system. It was as simple as just don't buy products made by companies that are poisoning you, right?
You know, and it really goes deep. The agenda really goes deeper than that, Sam. Oh man, when we even get into the mentality of waking up people who are asleep, we have to understand, again, it all boils down to that the people we're dealing with are parasites. The Bilderbergs, the Rothschilds, every president is selected. They're not elected. Your vote does not count. It doesn't count.
Not even for Congress or Senate?
Well,
it's tough to say with electronic voting machines, right?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we have to understand, and look at the presidents. Look at all of our presidents. The only decent one we had was Kennedy, and he was killed. They're all involved in skull and bones. They're all involved in masonry. They're all involved in the Illuminati mind control system that we're against. The only thing, oh man, it's so rough because when you listen and you try to educate people on this,
it sounds crazy when you start talking like that, but yeah, they are all members of these secret fraternities, secret societies, and they Skull and Bones is a great example, and that's very public now that our Secretary of State, Kerry, was a member of that, right?
Well, John Kerry's a parasite in his own essence. I mean, if we look at John Kerry, he was pushing for Syria for how long now? And the American people said, we don't want it. We don't want your bullshit. We don't want your lies, okay? Enough.
So we got to actually, I think in the whole Syria situation, we have to thank the British Parliament, because their vote really told Obama that he can't do it. You know, the Empire, even for whatever it's worth, the Empire's Parliament over there in England said we're not backing this war, and I think that spoke a lot to America, to Obama, to his administration.
Well, it really didn't, because we're dealing with people who are parasites in their mindset, and we're basically prisoners without the bars. And what I mean by that is, when you think you have freedom, when you think you have freedom of speech, freedom of choice, this is a slave planet. This is a slave system, and it doesn't matter, because guess what? What happened right after we didn't get a chance to go to war with Syria? The shooting happened in Washington, right or wrong. They want to take. Now they're even more trying to push away to rape our Second Amendment.
Well, that guy was on the serotonin reuptake inhibitor drugs.
I mean, it's if one thing fails with these parasites, they try card two. They want to try something else. I mean, they are trying their damnedest to look at the bill that John Kerry just passed against guns. You know, it's if Plan A with these people does not work, they go to Plan B, and the ultimate agenda is to take our Constitution and take it away from us. The UN right now has Russian troops training on American soil. Listen. The Russians wouldn't think twice about blowing us away and shooting us. FEMA ordered how many MREs? I mean, the food they've ordered.
Over 2 billion rounds of ammo. They're ordering, I forget last time, 100,000 AK-47s, and that's not even U.S. military issue. So they're trying to just take all the supplies, buy up all the prepper survival supplies for when they do that big massive false flag. I think so the people cannot. We have to go beg to them to be our savior, right? That's what they love, is to pose as a savior for the crisis that they created. Yes, and you exactly, Sam. You were right on the money about this. And the thing is that people who are asleep, people who are unprepared right now, not only financially, because if you look at the goddamn economic situation right now, they have purposely brought us to where we're at right now to cripple us. And when the false flag does come, it makes the average person who's asleep, it's like, okay, well, I already can't find a job. But this cataclysmic event, and that gets us back to problem, reaction, solution, we have no choice, well, they have no choice, but to rely on this slave system paradigm that we live in with these parasites. Look at all the FEMA camps that are 800. They've been planning this for a long time. And now people may say, well, Paul, how can we avoid this? How can we stop this? Well, first off, we have to understand one thing. That it's a mind game. That this and this is really not popular with a lot of activists. It's a confidence game, right? A confidence game. It's a con game is what it is. They're running a giant con game on everybody.
It's a con game, and it's a game. It's a universal game, and a lot of activists really don't get into universalism. And those who do, who know me, understand this. It's a mental game with these. These parasites have been planning this for a long time, and our forefathers. They aren't rolling over in their goddamn graves right now. They're scratching in their graves trying to crawl out and fight right now. But we have to understand that this has to be a non-violent revolution.
Well, the government, the state owns a monopoly on violence, so it's kind of hard to violently revolt against the guys with the nukes, right? I mean,
what are you going to do, Sam? They've got billions of hollow point ammunition ready for us.
With your name written on it, yeah.
You're telling me that the average American person is going to step up with, I mean, I've listened to people all the time that say, well, if they try to take my guns, I'm going to shoot them. Listen, we're good. Everyone says, I want the sheep to wake up. You know what? If you want the sheep to wake up, you need to be an example and say, listen, it has to be nonviolent or we're going to be slaughtered.
Yeah, I agree. And then,
there's no other goddamn way, and I'm sorry to say it with this much energy, but me and you are out here risking our life, fighting for people that are asleep. And there's no other way, because they have the ammo, they want the guns, and they're going to bring the false flag to take the guns. And then when they take the guns, what are we left with? Nothing. And I see activists every day. Oh, I want to be the next big Alex Jones. I want to be the next big thing. You need to get your mind right, because this is now. Okay? And this is now. There is no tomorrow. There is no let's get my bug out bag and bug the fuck out. This is now. And I understand this is a family program, but the family needs to realize violence isn't going to handle this. These parasites are universal. And when I'm not going to get into that, obviously, but when you watch my channel, you'll see that. They have been preparing for this, and they feed off of fear. This is why these parasites are going to do the false flags. Listen, it's all false flags. I had a friend that said to me, oh, the Boston Marathon, there's no way that was staged. Come on, dude. There's proof that says it was staged. What we need to do in order to wake up the masses is we need to say, listen, it's a mind control game, okay? When the shit hits the fan, you better have yourself ready to not be able to rely on FEMA, because what happened in Nazi Germany is small potatoes. Small potatoes to what's going to happen to you people.
the same Nazi evil psychopaths are running this system as ran the Third Reich and all that. So, you know, now they have the technology to do. I mean, we can't even imagine the evil crimes that they have planned to do against us.
I'll tell you what, Sam, like I said, I am very humbled and very honored to even be talking about this with you right now, my friend. And I'm very honored to even be associated with the people like yourself that get out here and try to make a difference, because what we're up against is so sinister.
Sinister, huh?
Sinister. I mean, Obama it's a proven fact that Obama, you know, has studied Nazi Germany, okay? Now, what did the Nazi Germans do? They disarmed their people.
Yeah,
and they had the FEMA camps. They had the Jew camps. Look at all the innocent Jews that were killed.
They've already taken away, take Chicago as an example. They've already taken away the guns there and created all these ghettos, and that's the murder capital of the United States is Chicago. So that's a perfect example of what happens when you take away the people's Second Amendment. Only criminals have the weapons, and the data is right there for anybody to go up, look up and see. Where's the murder capital of Chicago?
Well, look at England. I mean, if we look at England's crime ratio rate, there's been more crimes in England with knives than there has been before they ever took their guns. How
do you cut your meat with no knife if they ban knives?
I mean, anybody can stab anyone with a knife. I can get a steak knife and stab someone. But the point is that there's more crimes now with handheld weapons other than guns before they took their guns away.
Get into the universal aspect. Let me hear what's your thoughts about what the evil spirits that are driving these possessed demon creatures that propose to be our representatives. Can you explain a little bit about that to our audience?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And again, like I said, it's an honor to even be here doing this. First of all, I want to say that resistance is definitely necessary. Get off your couch. Let's fight. But love is key. Now, we have to understand back in the ancient Babylonian times, the Egyptian times, people wake up, because these beings back then, you know, the people that are in power now, they study this. We're going to have a peaceful revolution. And look what happened in Egypt. You see them. They lay in front of the tanks. They know this. And America is a young country. We haven't been tested in a long time. And I see these activists, F the government, F this, that. Dude, you want to have a violent revolution and you want to lead the masses into being slaughtered, then that's your problem. But that's not my reality. Because they already had the ammo that would run through your flesh. They already are ready for this. These parasites, these other dimensional beings that are controlling our government. Dude, they have seen and planned for this. So the question is, now that you have this knowledge, what move can we make? How can we awaken the masses? You want to know how we can awaken the masses to this? I mean, we have to wake them up in love vibration. And that may be corny, but any violent revolution that has hit the streets has what? What's happened, Sam? Sam, what has happened? It's been replaced by a violent regime.
But, well, yeah, by probably a government that's worse than the ones that were revolted against in the first place, yeah.
And I think that's, honestly, I think that's because it's all about energy. When you go to a party and you see someone that's negative in a party, as soon as this asshole walks in the party, he brings everybody down. Nobody wants to be around him. He's evil. He's negative. And that's what we're faced with right now in America. We're faced with a bunch of gangsters who are negative. They want to rape our Constitution, rape our planet for every resources. Monsanto wants to poison our food. Chemtrails are spraying our air. God damn, what can we do about it? I say we need to drop our guns, get up off our PlayStations, get up off our couch. Listen, I had 3 death threats in the past 2 months.
For what? Why? Who's death threatening you?
I've had emails that are untraceable, and I've been told they say, "Oh, well, you want a love revolution? We're going to kill you."
Why? That doesn't even make sense.
Sam, because here's the thing: not many people are coming out and saying, "Hey, look, let's do this in a peaceful way." Everybody wants to do it in a violent way, and that's
who are all these violent people? If you start talking about violence, the government's going to. That's a perfect reason for them to do something to you when you start talking about doing violence. And I would add that any of these people talking about violence are probably government agents, because that's how they operate. They're COINTELPRO agent provocateurs. And I've dealt with these people at my We Are Change meetings before.
And here's the thing, you see, I have all my information. If anything ever happens to me, it's here now, it's out on the show. I don't like publicizing, scare tactics, because listen, I don't live my life in fear. I really don't. I live in love vibration, and I believe that through manifestation of our thoughts, if we really sit and believe in our minds that we can make it happen, that we can add the federal government, that we can really change this through non-compliance, that it's going to happen, Sam, it's going to happen.
Well, it seems they're pretty naked right now. I mean, with all the scandals, if they can, but the thing is, they keep the public distracted, right? And so we need to go back and focus on the IRS scandal, Benghazi, Fast and Furious, all these criminal things that our government's doing that they need to be held accountable. People have died behind this stuff, okay? And so,
Sam, I want to ask you one quick question. Who lies to us more than anyone? And who is stopping people from really even getting a chance to wake up to love vibration or a true non-compliant revolution?
Who? The government. I mean,
no. It's
the media. Yes. Well, we're in a fascist system, so they're about one and the same. They're joined at the hip, the corporate media and the government.
But the media continues to lie. I mean, if it wasn't for people like us, there would be no real media.
No, they do. They're absurd, trained actors, liars. They're just they're paid state professional propagandists is what they are. Not investigative reporters or journalists with any kind of integrity. It's absurd. Because if you do try to be someone like Amber Lyons, for instance, right? She tried to give real reporting from the war in Bahrain, and CNN would not let her do it. And she had enough integrity to go ahead and blow the whistle, but that's the whole system right there in a nutshell, Amber Lyons' experience.
So here's the thing. I mean, what is it going to take? I mean, what is it going to take you people to realize we need to attack the media? Everyone's occupying this and occupying that. I mean, we need to really hit the media.
Occupy the major network stations, right? I mean, camp out in front of them. Because they are the main, they're the main hand in the mind control. through that television box.
Right. And what I've always said was mass hypnosis that humanity is under right now comes from what? It comes from the media. The media didn't cover the revolution in Egypt. The media doesn't cover anything that's going on. No, they won't cover that.
They're on script. They're on a Pentagon script.
Which makes me think: are these people? I mean, are these people are the same parasites that are a part of the people that are in our Senate? These people are the people that are parasites that are the same people that are in our government. I mean, these are the people that are stopping us from waking up the masses. Whether you have an agenda of violent revolution or not, you have to realize that we have to give it to we have to really get it to the media. Because that's where it's going to start. Not in front of the White House, because the media is not going to cover this.
Yeah, I get very angry with the local media even here. They actually came out. They had the audacity to come out to an overpass protest that we were doing and try to do a hit piece on us and make us look bad. Channel 30 News actually, that's an ABC local one, and they sent a guy out there that tried to intimidate us, tell us that we were wrong for being out there protesting. And that's pretty absurd because we're both out there practicing our First Amendment right. But I got really mad, and they do make me mad because they know what they're doing. And we'll pick it up on the second half of the show.
Major thing, because Monsanto chemtrails, I mean, this is really a major issue, I think, that a lot of people really need to get. And a lot of activists that are political really don't even know about this, you know?
Hello, friends. Welcome back. Welcome back to the second part of the show. We're with activist Paul Wesley, a.k.a. Prince Truth Chaser. We need you to go ahead and check out his YouTube video, check out what he's been doing to raise public awareness about the New World Order in Philadelphia and around the country online. He's a great activist, raising awareness with a love vibration. Paul, you want to go ahead and get into some of the crimes of the mainstream media? We left off saying how they're just professional propagandists. That was me saying it, but you want to talk a little bit about the crimes of the mainstream media and why they are guilty of the oppression of the American people and the rest of the world?
Well, first off, they're guilty of mass genocide.
Okay, why is the media? They're not out there pulling the trigger on any weapons, are they?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, how do you figure that?
Well, I mean, look at it this way. If me and you know about the people that are pulling the triggers, if we don't speak up, we're just as guilty as the people that are pulling the triggers, are we not?
Yeah, but how does it go if you turn a blind eye to injustice, then you're just as guilty? Yeah, something like that. That's
exactly.
Probably about right, yeah. That's why, because I do know about this stuff. That's why I'm yelling about it all day, you know?
Exactly, and the mainstream media, Fox News, CNN, NBC, they're all guilty of mass genocide. The chemtrails are being sprayed in the air, and the Doppler radar. I've interviewed Scott Stevens, and he said he can see it on the Doppler radar.
So they know. So you're saying that weathermen know?
Oh, absolutely. Guilty of mass genocide.
Wow.
Yes. If you're aware of what's going on, and you don't speak up, there's either two reasons. One, A, you're not a human being, or B, two, you're afraid to lose your job. Now whether it's A or B, Sam, you're guilty of mass genocide.
Okay, so you think that once the public finally wakes up, we can hold trials? Charge these professional propagandists with lying to us. I think they're buck naked right now, though. I mean, I don't know many people that still believe the mainstream media at this point because they continually lie so much.
Well, I think that stands true to people like me and you, and activists and people that are awoken. But if we walk into a local supermarket and we ask about chemtrails, 99.9% of the people don't know what that is. If we sit in a local bar and we talk about Monsanto or how the government just got shut down, 99.9% of the people have no idea. So honestly, to say that a lot of people are woken up, I really don't see that as truth. I think that a lot of activists have woken up, yes.
Okay, so you think a lot of people still believe the mainstream media is lying? Yeah, I guess they do because, like at my work, for instance, people are not woken up. They can have the facts thrown right in their face, and they still trust the government, and that goes along with. I say that the mainstream media is just the entertainment arm of the military-industrial complex.
Well, I think the mainstream media and overall is bought and sold just like the way the government is and the way the elitists are. I think that the mainstream media
What does Gerald Celente calls them? The prostitutes? The prostitutes.
Well, they're the prostitutes of the government, absolutely, yes.
It's disgusting. And yeah, these people are going to burn. And but there are good ones, like Amber Lyon, that's the one that comes right to mind off the top of my head. But there have been whistleblowers in the mainstream media exposing them. So a few people with integrity have come out. But so what is the goal of all this? Why do they spend so much time and effort and energy and money to feed us that continually lie through the signal all day? What's their goal behind that, Paul?
Well, again, because A, they're not human, and you would have to actually look at my YouTube channel to understand that. Or B, because they're afraid to lose their job and they're doing what they're told to do. But the ultimate goal is, like I said, universal energy. And when we get into universal energy, we look at how the conscience works in human beings, period. And the elitists understand how conscious thought works within the individual person. And they understand that to manipulate conscious thought through the individual to the individual person, we have to do that through the media.
So with that signal, right? And so we all know about the Georgia Guidestones. And what do they want the population down to? Stated on the Georgia Guidestones, something like 800,000 would be a manageable level for them.
You know, and the thing is that I've done a lot of awareness about the Georgia Guidestones, and people still refuse to look at that.
Those are real Guidestones, big old giant. I forget their size, like 50 foot, some monstrosity thing they made there in Georgia, right? It's a very real thing written on there. Their plan to depopulate the earth.
And it's right in front of your face, people. This is not a game.
It's not a conspiracy theory. It's not some made-up, crazy, kooky thing. It's a monument made there, dedicated by the elite New World Order to death, pretty much.
You know, my daughter asked me if she could have kids, my oldest daughter. And I don't have the heart to tell this child no. There is no hope for the future. Does that bother you people? Look at my face while I'm on Skype right now, because people like me and Sam are trying to get a message out to you. I don't make money off of this. I don't do this for fun. Look at the Georgia Guidestones. They want to kill 90% of us. George W. Bush said it himself, and his father. The New World Order will succeed. The law of the jungle is something of the past. This has been said. YouTube it. George W. Bush says New World Order will succeed.
The 1,000 Points of Light speech, a very famous speech that he gave. Yeah, it's disgusting. It's right in our face. But yet the general public still cannot believe that this is the program that's going on. When just look at the health problems caused by the eugenic slow kill operation with the fluoride in the water, the aspartame, the chemtrails. It just goes on, and this is all part of the slow kill depopulation before they either nuke us or do a bioweapon or something else for the mass culling. And it seems like that's what all this is building up to, the mass culling.
You know what the mass culling is? This is the mass culling. You can nuke us. You can poison us. You can kill us and break our bones. But you will never, ever, ever take our integrity. You will never take our love vibration from us, and you will never take our souls. Because ultimately, that's what these parasites want. And ultimately, here's another thing. We talk about waking up the masses. I can understand someone who's asleep and doesn't understand what's going on. I can accept that. What I cannot accept is those of you who know what's going on, know that we're being slow killed, know that they're trying to push a mass depopulation agenda and push us all in a mass fear chaos agenda, and sit on your couch and do nothing. And I got a message for you. You're worse than the people that are asleep, because guess what? Your kids are going to look you in the eye and say, what have you done? Why haven't you fought for me? You're given this information that me and you, We Are Changed, are giving you. And everybody else, people in Philadelphia and the Fed in Philly, the activists that are in Pennsylvania, we're all bringing it to you. And those of you who decide to not get off your comfort zone because you think it's not going to affect you, your kids are eating Monsanto. Your kids are drinking the water. So guess what? You're going to have to answer to them, and you're just as guilty as the ones who are not reporting it.
Yeah.
So those of you who know me and Sam that sit in a bar with us and say, hey, good job. I don't want to hear good job. I don't want your handshakes. I want you to get out there and make a difference. Because if you don't, then don't you be prepared to come in front of my face and tell me that you're proud of me. Don't tell us that you're proud of us.
Yeah, Paul, it's ridiculous. They started calling me a local celebrity around here. It's ridiculous. And then people always say, what are you going to do? And then I give them a laundry list of solutions. People just need to take action. One of the most simple ones is that economic boycott. Don't spend your money with these companies. Spend it with local farmers for your food. Go to your farmers markets. Buy your dairy, your eggs, your chicken. You can find all that locally. It takes a little bit of work, a little bit of extra effort, a little bit of thought, but it's going to pay for you and your family's health in the long run and your local economy. And so that's one simple solution. There's the mass compliance. Make them run the paperwork. Make them jump through the hoops, because that's what it's all about. You can do that. You can make YouTube videos. You can do a show. This is public access television right here. It's open to anybody that has the gumption to come down here and make a show, right? I'm nothing special. I just took the time to come here and put in the work. And I want to thank my producer, Gary. He's putting a lot of time into this show too. And so we're people that have just taken it doesn't even take that long, really, once you get it down. It's pretty frustrating. We had some technical difficulties at the end of the show. But make some YouTube videos. Broadcast on public television. Make flyers, hand them out. Just start up conversations about, hey, maybe you think we could do things different and have a better future for our children. What are some solutions that you have over there, Paul?
Well, first off, I just want to say, that I commend all you guys and everyone who makes a difference. And we're really not heroes. We're just people who really have a decent outlook on the future. And,
I know you're fired up over there. I get fired up about it too.
And this is what people need to see, though, Sam. They need to see fired up. They need to get that firecracker up their behind, because, I mean, it's easy to say that, Sam's a hero and we're all heroes. We're not. We're just people who are passionate about what we do and passionate about making a difference. And here's the thing. If you can't get up off your couch, if you're disabled, I understand that.
No, there's disabled girls that go and protest out there at overpasses.org. I saw them last weekend.
So I'm on Skype now. All my videos I've ever done were via my phone.
There's girls in wheelchairs protesting.
So go ahead. We don't want to hear that you have 10 kids. And we don't want to hear that, okay? What we want to hear is that you have 10 kids, you're on welfare, and you're willing to self-empower yourself to will into existence the reality that you want your children to live in. Okay, and that's the mind control that the Illuminati and the government and the people that really we don't have a choice of being elected or holding from us. Because see, we have to understand that they don't want us to self-empower themselves. They want to mind control us. They want to take the resources from this planet, rape this planet, and feed us their Monsanto garbage. So what it all comes down to is understanding that love is key. Again, I am an activist of non-compliance and love. I get fired up, and I get fired up in a non-compliance way. And I shake hands and break bread with people like Sam Chaney and We Are Change Fresno, and anyone else, like Sam says, that wants to, think outside the box and wants to self-empower yourself, because self-empowering is key.
Yeah, I agree. That is to just know, to have some self-confidence about and some self-esteem about yourself, and realize that you do have power. Because think about, the system has spent your whole life and every second of every day trying to convince you that you don't have any power. So you just throw your hands up in the air and say, what can I do? I'm just one person. Like my ex-wife used to tell me, and she was indoctrinated. She was from the Ukraine, and so she grew up in the USSR, and she was indoctrinated heavy into the tyranny that one person can't make a difference. The line she used to tell me, because probably part of our divorce, right, was that I would go out and protest 9/11 every weekend and hold my Building 7 sign on the overpasses, and she would never want to go out with me. And I finally asked her, I'm passionate about this as a part of my life. I feel like we need to do this. And I would ask her, why don't you want to come out with me? And she said, well, Sam, you're just the ant throwing rocks at the castle wall, right? And so that's that mentality, that tyranny system of the USSR, that communist Russian tyranny drilled in her head, and she never got over that. And so that's a perfect example of just of how little power people think they have, when it's the exact opposite. I'm just one man here. This is a two-man show here going on right now. And Paul, three-man show right here.
Let me say one thing right now, and I want to make this clear to everyone who's listening. When I had first started out doing my activist, Sam, I had that one person can make a difference mentality. And I had read a Facebook post of this person who I consider, they might seem like a decent guy. And his Facebook post is like, well, if you're not a part of our group, if you're not a part of our rallies, and I haven't protested with you, I'm not going to publicize what you do. That is pure ignorance. And that is pure mind control of what the system wants us to do. Our power, or power, is there power in numbers? Absolutely. But to say because one person wants to make a difference that you don't support them, listen, we don't ask for support because we want to do it by ourselves. See,
all these groups, once they become a group, they get co-opted. The Tea Party is a perfect example. And so
it's disgusting.
That's why the individual, and that's why the no centralized organization is the only way to go, because they can take me and you out. We're just individuals. They're not going to stop the message. They can't stop the idea of liberty, peace, love, and liberty. They can't stop that idea, those ideas.
There's groups that won't even cover me or my work because of the boldness that I bring. But here's the thing. They don't want to cover me because I'm not a part of their clique.
No, they're already co-opted. They're already co-opted, and they probably don't even know it, the majority of members.
Not that I wouldn't be, or not that I don't support them, but here's the thing. I do what I do to show the individual that's asleep that one person can make a difference. Because here's the thing. If I have a group, and the group wants to wake up the masses, and we meet somebody, they're going to feel intimidated. They're going to say, well, there's a lot of people in this group, and I don't know if I can handle that. Where what I want to do is I want to say, listen, slowly integrate your mentality to it till you get into that group. Say to yourself, I want to empower myself as an individual, and one person can make a difference, and then join a group. Listen, I want my daughter to join a group. I want her to be a part of a group. You understand? But I want her to empower herself first. And I want everyone who's listening to understand that before you can go into any group, you have to be right up here first. Because if you're not right up here with love vibration and understanding the real end game of what's going on, I don't give a crap what group you're in. Nothing's going to change. Because you can have a million people of knuckleheads that want to be popularity and change the world, but if they don't understand that non-compliance and love is key, then they're not going to change nothing.
Yeah.
And that's what makes people like me and you so dangerous.
Well, those people are going to follow co-opted leaders, probably CIA agents, whatever secret spy agents that have co-opted all these big political movements, and that's just how it goes. Man, I have a meeting of We Are Change with like 3 guys or 4 guys, and one of them is a government agent talking about let's do violence. It's bad out there with groups and the co-opting and the COINTELPRO that's going on. It's insane.
And this is what we're talking about. It's insanity in the system. They want to create mass chaos through false flags, through infiltration of groups, through everything. They want a bunch of chickens with their heads cut off running around. They're not going to take my guns. I'm going to go down with a fight. What fight are you going to go down with? You're going to go down when the Russian troops come patrolling your street. You're going to pee your pants like a baby.
No, well, that's why we need to take advantage now, I think, and organize as much locally in the community. And I'm going to actually start a campaign in my own local community, my own neighborhood, and at least get to know some of my neighbors because, well, actually, this ties in with the housing crisis. I used to know all my neighbors, but half of them got foreclosed on and had to move out, and then some property management companies came in and bought up those properties, and now renters live there. So I've lost touch with those people because they're not very stable residents, and so they move out every 6 months. You know what I mean? But I need to. That's a good thing that you brought up because yeah, we will be running around with like a chicken with our head cut off once the real crisis really does hit, unless we're organized in the community.
We need to organize the community not in a group-based mentality. We need to organize the community, and okay, we're a group, but we are open to everybody. Not just people in our group. You understand? We're open up to everyone, and we're open up to love vibration. Listen, it's not going to be violent. I see these jerks on YouTube that steal ideas off of everybody else, and dude, I've seen it.
What do you mean?
And it's like a rat race. Everyone wants to be the next Alex Jones.
I know, right?
Alex Jones. I love InfoWars and what they're doing, but and I see people, they just want to rat race. Dude, time is ticking. And if you don't tickety that ass to a non-compliant, peaceful revolution, you are going to be hit with a reality check that you are not ready for.
And so you want to get into a little bit about the about outer space. You know that this government shutdown, they pretty much shut down all of NASA, the civilian or human space program. That's the way that we ascend to the higher level of civilization. And it seems like they're cutting us off from that. So just the elite are going to have access to that higher level of civilization.
In order to get to that, we have to understand that, first off, people have enough problems understanding that the government's against them and that the government's poisoning them.
They can't grasp the fact of a ascended higher level, higher way of thinking civilization.
They can't even grasp that. But just to give a little bit of to kind of get our feet wet in the other outer space aspect is that our government basically is controlled by entities that are not human. I think Alex Jones has a clip with John Kerry, who I said wasn't human to begin with. He's going, watch my tongue. You see?
He's at least on drugs, man.
Oh, no, watch my tongue. How it's going in and out like that?
Yeah.
It's the reptilian tongue.
Is that what it is?
And listen, Alex Jones has another video where he has like a mask on with a lizard mask. Now, see, people are going to look at that and they're going to. This is a video with Carrie's tongue coming in and out.
No, yeah, they're just going to clown it. Yeah, I know the routine already. That's what people say when you say David Icke. They go, "Oh, the reptilian guy," and then write off everything else he says because of that theory that he.
Look at Luke Rogakowski from We Are Change, New York. He did interviews with David Icke.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's integrating in his own and embracing the fact that this man, David A. Icke, is an icon and deserves all the respect and love in the world, because he not only says that these beings are controlled by entities who are not human, and this information can be traced throughout history. If we look at the Sphinx on Mars, if we look at the fact of the ancient hieroglyphics, we look at, they have spears in the sky with these flying saucers in the sky. Listen, we have been controlled for thousands of years. But they also have what's called time travel capabilities to manipulate time, to manipulate the outcome of revolutions. This is why I say love is key, because these parasites have the technology. And Alex Jones even said this. They have technology that is hundreds of years ahead of us. And this may sound crazy, but, you know, oh my God. I mean,
well, they could. We know Dr. Bob Bowman. He just died last month. Bless his soul. Great patriot. We know that he was head of the Star Wars space program. And he testified, or in an interview, he said, you know, they leaked it during a Senate committee hearing. One of his generals leaked it, and it was classified, but then he could talk about it once they talked about it, once his general slipped up. Was it that they had that laser that could shoot your head off from space in 1970, man? I mean, so think about that. And where are we at? We're in 2013? Give me a break what they got now.
No matter how far ahead of us, and I just want to say something. Barack Obama was born in a test tube. The man is not human.
Well, he certainly seems to be born and bred by the CIA to play this role.
He's a parasite. He has no emotions. If you look at the ancient pharaohs, the cloned ancient pharaohs, the man is not a human being. Another thing is, when he had got the Nobel Peace Prize, no one noticed that we shot nuclear atomic missiles at the moon. Did anyone pay attention to that? Now, the question is, why did the U.S. government and the space program shoot atomic weapons at the moon? If you ever watched Jurassic Park, when they had that machine and they drill in the ground, it actually takes pictures of hollow Earth, which, by the way, Earth is hollow. There's actually, you can look up Phil Schneider, and that's a whole different story. But we shot weapons on the moon because we want to map out the middle of the moon. There's bases on the moon. There's life on Mars. It's different dimensions. There's so many there's different dimensions on planet Earth. We work from a third dimensional frequency right now. And let's really get into the meat and gravy of this. We work in a third dimensional reality right now. Now, time travel has not gone past 2013. There's always been a bump, like a kind of a bump. Now, why is there a bump? There's a bump because the human consciousness is going from a third dimensional state of awareness to a higher dimensional state of awareness. This is why we have the false flags. This is why we have the government pushing mass chaos into our consciousness. This is why the media is pushing this into our consciousness. This is why we have activists who are angry, who believe that this should be no. We are transitioning DNA-wise as a being to a higher consciousness. But a lot of people aren't going to make it because they have anger in their heart. Are they poisoning us, Sam? Absolutely. Are they killing us off? Absolutely. Do they want mass chaos? Absolutely. Death does not exist, and they understand this. So they want us to operate out of a low vibrational mentality, to where when humanity, it's time for us to ascend, that those of us who operate out of that anger mentality, we fail and we don't ascend. I mean, if you ever had a dream, and you have a dream where you die in that dream and poof, you wake up. Life is but a dream, just like the song goes, and the elite know this. There is no such thing as death. This is just an experience, as David Icke says. This is our body. We're just having a conscious experience. Now, how do we want that experience to be? Do we want it to be love and light, or do we want it to be full of anger and chaos? It's our choice. Should we be angry? Absolutely. But it has to be a love revolution.
And so they go about using all these means of control, the chemical, psychological, and biological attack that we're under to suppress our consciousness, because they know that we are going through this great time of change that will uplift humanity. And so, Paul, I want to thank you very much for your time tonight. We're out of time. We're going to upload this show as soon as we can next week. You got any last words you want to say before we sign off?
The only thing I really have to say is that we're all in this together. You know, we're all in this together, and in the end, whatever, regardless of what happens, false flag, whatever happens, love is the only way out. Any group we're in, any people we're in, no matter who we wake up, you want to wake up the masses, wake up your mind first. PrinceTruthChaser.com, YouTube.com/PrinceTruthChaser. Humble yourself, awaken your mind, and then we'll awaken the world. Thanks for having me on.
All right, thanks a lot, Paul. Peace, love, and liberty. Good night.
Are particularly more sensitive to GMOs for several reasons than adults. Number one is they have higher metabolic rates. They metabolize food quicker. They need more food, and their cells are changing quicker. They are growing rapidly, so they have a higher cell turnover. They have higher metabolic rates, higher respiratory rates, so they require more nutrition. They eat more. And number two is that children are more sensitive to smaller doses of toxins than adults. We don't respond to toxins the same way.
Their immune system is not prepared for it. They're not able to digest properly. They don't have the enzymes available to them. They don't have their gut bacteria completely developed yet.
The question of this bioaccumulation of toxins might be higher in their bodies. They have a smaller body mass. So for all those reasons, children are more susceptible.
I tell all of my pregnant women how to serve their children non-GMO foods.
We have them eat non-GMO food for at least 2 weeks. At least 2 weeks before trying to conceive, preferably longer. Because we know that if mom doesn't, that any gene changes that can be passed on to the baby can be passed on to future generations, and it's a new field of genetics called epigenetics, and that's what I'm worried about. That I thought in the old genetic days, we thought that genes weren't so mutable, and we now know that's not true. That they can change expression and quickly, and it's passed on.
If the mother eats the genetically engineered foods, it is going to affect the development and the growth of her child. It's one more factor to throw into the uterine fluid that is not good, and it will cause disaster in time.
There's no pediatrician that is not going to say nursing, breastfeeding over formula. Let's be clear. So we're all breastfeeding. I've never met a pediatrician who said don't breastfeed in my career. So breastfeeding, breastfeeding, and then again breastfeeding. Now, in certain moms, they can't. So those babies will go on formula. I say organic formula only.
I think that pretty much most all soy infant formulas are made from genetically modified soy, which means that's a serious health hazard. The risk of allergic reactions is much too great to be feeding that to infants, especially at an early age.
Nearly all infant formulas use milk from cows injected with bovine growth hormone and derivatives of GM corn. And independent laboratory tests found significant amounts of genetically engineered soy in 4 popular soy-based infant formulas. Similac soy, 42%. Gerber Good Start soy, 48%. Enfamil Pro Soybe, 49%. Walmart soy, 66%. The U.S. government's WIC program provides free formula to over 2 million newborns, but only the genetically engineered varieties.
When I first discovered that GMO was in infant formula and infant food, I was outraged, honestly. I didn't know how that could have happened in this country, and I felt guilty as a mother for not knowing that it was in there and I was feeding something harmful to my child. But once I learned it was in there, it was cold turkey, just everything got thrown out, and we started from scratch.
They're really vulnerable, and we're giving their parents, before they're born, feeding them GMOs. And we know that things can get into the fetus, like Bt toxin and Roundup. And then we're feeding them infant formula with genetically engineered corn and soy, and the milk from cows injected with bovine growth hormone. What are we doing to our children?